Hello, I'm meteorologist Bill Steffen. The cool air has settled in across the Great Lakes region, and we've got a frost and freeze advisory in effect here during the early morning. Let's take a look at how chilly it was here Wednesday morning up at Leota, a very cool spot. Temperature made it all the way down to 27 degrees. Cadillac was a bit below freezing. It reached 35 in White Cloud and Baldwin. In Grand Rapids, we stopped at 44 degrees. And look at the temperature in the middle of Lake Michigan at the buoy. It never got cooler than 56. So that's about a 30-degree temperature spread between Leota and middle of Lake Michigan. But that's what you get on these calm, clear nights. And it's going to be even colder here early this Thursday morning as temperatures dip down into the low 20s across most of the area. We've got a freeze warning in effect in the counties that you see in the dark blue. That includes Oceana, Newaygo, Montcalm, and Ionia counties. In the lighter blue colors, it's a frost advisory where temperatures will probably reach the mid-30s. We take temperatures at eye level at about the 5-foot level. So even if it's still 33 or 34 up at eye level here, it can be a little bit below the freezing mark right at the ground where there could still be a little bit of frost. Here's a look at some low temperatures that we expect across the area. Big Rapids down to 29, and that 25 there at Houghton Lake, Roscommon, 29 up at Gaylord, 25 up at Indian River, which is just shy of the Mackinac Bridge. But you can see out over the lake, temperatures hold in the 50s, where that water temperature is hanging in there in the 60s and tends to keep things from getting really cold. But land areas do cool off. We're even getting a 32-degree reading there from near Grand Rapids. So I think the downtown city area will hold in the mid-30s. Right by the water out on the pier, we got a 45 there at South Haven. That's out at the edge of the pier there. Once you get on land, it falls into the 30s pretty quickly. Wow. Take a look at some of the high temperatures here from Wednesday, despite some sunshine. And you can see the beach there on the left side at Holland. Not a lot of people there. 62 was the warmest we could find. That was at Holland and the Muskegon Airport. Grand Rapids reached 60. Muskegon Beach and Holland Beach at 59, so it was pretty similar. And if you like it cold down on the bottom, wow. South Pole registered a temperature of 74 below zero. It's really dangerous to be outside and breathing that air when it gets that cold. But they don't get many warm days at the South Pole, and a warm day to them is temperatures just a little bit below the freeze or below the zero mark. I think the warmest it's ever been at the South Pole is about 9 above zero. All right, on we go. Sunrise and sunset time there for you. Sunset is at 7:09. We continue to lose daylight at the rate of almost 3 minutes per day. We're down to 11 hours and 20 minutes. And we lost another degree on the average high and low. We're down to 64 and 44. Record high temperature, 84, set a couple of times, and 39 in 2018. And the coldest we've been on this date is 23 in 1989. You can see the Muskegon Channel up there where we had the Lake Express ferry there going by. And as you can see, the water temperature at the channel at Holland was 61. That was down just a bit. Reed's Lake, with the help of some afternoon sunshine, held its own there at 69 degrees today. Okay, a full moon coming up here tonight. Once again, I think it's about 94% full as I type this here. And you can see just a little bit of darkening on the far right of the picture, but the moon's looking pretty, and the moon is relatively close to the Earth. It averages about 239,000 miles away. But now it's about 226 or 227, so that makes the moon just ever so slightly bigger than an average full moon. We sometimes call that a super moon. All right, Tuesday, severe weather reports. No reports received. How about that? Not a single severe weather report anywhere in the United States. That's a good thing. Taking a look at where thunderstorms are going to line up here later this afternoon. First, we got them in the southeast again. Florida continues to get battered, especially that east coast, by thunderstorms on an almost daily basis. There could be an isolated thunder shower or two from the western UP on down toward eastern Kansas and Missouri. And you can see all the thunder showers that will be popping up over Arizona. Moisture from hurricanes and tropical storms coming up from the south is going to keep them occasionally on the wet side here right through much of the rest of this week. Taking a look at the severe threat here for, well, let's go on here and take a look at the severe weather reports that we have here for. Well, let's take a look at the next slide here and see what we got next here. I kind of lost track of my my. Here we go. There we go. My rundown here. You can see as we look at Friday here, the thunder showers across a good portion of the west and down from the Upper Peninsula on down to Kansas and in the southeastern U.S. as well. Lower Michigan, though, we stay dry. All right, coming up next, we have tropics in the western Atlantic. We have a yellow X in the Bay of Campeche there in the Gulf of America or Gulf of Mexico, whichever you choose to call it. And that's only about a 10% chance of developing into a tropical storm, so I wouldn't worry about that. We also have Tropical Storm Jerry, and there's the path that Jerry will be taking. There is a tropical storm watch out in that yellow area there for the Virgin Islands. The hurricane is going to, or it will intensify into a hurricane, not a major hurricane, but a hurricane. And it will take a path north and then northeast. It will pass to the east of Bermuda and then become a windy, rainy, low pressure system as it advances toward Europe. And take a look at the western side of the continent here. We've got Octave and Priscilla. Priscilla will just kind of absorb Octave here over the next 24 hours. And that red X there is where the next system is going to develop, and that will be called Raymond. But the combination of Priscilla and Raymond will be pumping moisture up to the north, up into the Baja area, and then up toward Arizona as well. And like I said, the main thing is not going to be severe weather or strong wind gusts. It'll just be some scattered thunder showers, some of them producing some good rainfall there. There is a tropical storm watch in effect for the coastline there of the Baja Peninsula as you get down toward the end, down towards the southern end of the peninsula there. All right, and then we travel out to the 66-hour rainfall map. And again, look at where the rainfall is going to be. Look at that yellow glob in Arizona. That's over 1.5 inches of rain over a 3-day period. It's going to rain in Phoenix. It's going to rain in Yuma. It's going to rain in Las Vegas. And it may actually rain in Death Valley. You don't see that too often. And look at the rain on the east coast of Florida, 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Again, some of those places are going to wind up with 20 inches of rain in a 30-day period. So that's pretty incredible. A little bit of rain for Michigan. That's mainly Friday night, and we'll talk more about that here in just a second. This is a look at two storms that are out in the western Pacific Ocean. We've got a nice eye with Typhoon Halong, and you got the second one, Nakri, and both of them are kind of heading in the direction of Japan, but most of them will bounce right off to the northeast before they do any significant damage there. I think we got a map here of Halong, and you can see it traveling to the north and then to the northeast and pretty much bypassing Kyoto and also Tokyo. They may see some bands of showers from that, and they'll certainly see some increased surf. And this is Nakri, the second storm, and you see it taking the same path. It heads toward Japan and then whoop, cools off. Just kind of runs off there toward the northeast. Our headlines: frost and freeze this early morning. Mostly sunny skies expected during the day today. Overall, dry pattern continues here through probably mid-month. An isolated shower is possible, though, Friday afternoon, Friday night. It would be mainly north of Grand Rapids, but I can't rule that out. Later today, 61 degrees, sunshiny skies, low temperature city 36, outlying areas 32. Humidity falls to 40% in the afternoon. Winds will be east or east-southeast at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. So it should be a fine day to be outside, especially after it warms up. Here's afternoon high temperatures, low 60s just about everywhere. With the wind out of the east, that means temperatures at the lakeshore are going to be just as warm or even a degree warmer than inland areas. In fact, you can see that 62 Kalamazoo, 63 South Haven, 62 at Newaygo, 63 Ludington, 61 Houghton Lake, and 63 in Traverse City. So with an east wind, you get a boost of around a degree. And this is the look for Friday. Temperatures are a couple degrees warmer than today, with readings mainly in the mid-60s, with the winds picking up just a little bit. I would suspect that if you want to hit the lake and go boating, probably today would be a better bet with the light east wind and waves 6 inches to a foot. Waves should increase a little bit as we head into Friday and Saturday. Here's a look at the 5-day forecast. Sunshine today, about a 40% chance of a shower for Friday afternoon or Friday night. Best bet for that would be north of Grand Rapids. 20% chance early Saturday, but Saturday afternoon looks dry for the football games. Sunshine for Sunday should be a great day, and we may come close to 70 again here during the day on Monday, when once again we'll have a low chance of a shower. Taking a look at the 8 to 14-day outlook, and once again, same story. Nothing has changed. We've got troughs on the east and west coast, where temperatures may be just a touch cooler than average. And then in the middle, where there's a ridge, warmer than average temperatures are expected. And taking a look at the rainfall map for October 16 to 22 gives us near normal rainfall, below average south and east, and above average over much of the western United States, part of that courtesy of moisture coming up out of Mexico and the Pacific Ocean there. Well, take a look at this. Michelle joining us today.
Yes. And, nice to see everyone.
This is kind of interesting. October 9th, 1975, this band played a homecoming concert at Cadillac High School. Really? The band was still new, having formed in New York City in 1973. The band is famous for its iconic face makeup. Could it be Kiss? That would be my guess. Their top hits included I Wanna Rock and Roll All Night and Detroit City Rock. Well, they played a band, they played a concert at Cadillac High School.
He did, and it's a crazy story how it happened. So the Cadillac football team was really good, and then there was a slump, and the coaches decided to play Kiss music in the locker rooms before and after practices and games to motivate the team. And the band found out about it, and they decided it would be legendary if they played the high school homecoming concert, so they did. And it was a whole thing, and they even made a monument to the event, which you can see today near Cadillac Junior High School.
What does a monument look like?
It's a stone. It's big and heavy. And
have you seen it, or?
I saw a picture of it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, I don't know that. That's interesting information. If somebody asked me which band played Cadillac and then became famous, I think all groups should play Cadillac. If you want to become famous, play Cadillac.
Mm-hmm. A memorable homecoming for everyone in Cadillac in 1975.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
But they didn't have a problem finding chaperones that year.
Probably not. Wow.
October 9, 1936, this engineering wonder began transmitting electricity 266 miles to residents of Los Angeles. Hint, you have been there.
That'd be Hoover Dam, I would think.
There you are.
Look at that. And, I wore a Grand Haven t-shirt that day, and I had 3 people come up to me at Hoover Dam. And you don't see a lot of people in that shot, but there were a lot of people around there. I had 3 people come up and mention something nice about Grand Haven, Michigan. Oh, I was there once. We had a great time. Oh, I was there for Coast Guard Festival. They weren't talking about me or weather. They were talking about how nice Grand Haven was.
Did any of them call you George or Dick Van Dyke?
No. I have been called George. I've been called Craig quite a bit, but I get called Bill the most, and that's a good thing. And Dick Van Dyke only once. That was the trip to Alaska.
So this was on our 50th.
Somebody thinks I'm Dick Van Dyke.
Mm-hmm.
I played along. I started singing chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. So
a couple of years ago, we decided that we were going to take him to all the states that he had never been to. So we flew to Las Vegas and then did the Hoover Dam tour because that got us back into Arizona. And
that is really an amazing piece of engineering work. It really is. You have to anticipate how that's going to work. And one of the things you have to think about when you build a dam is the amount of evaporation you're going to get off the surface of the water. Is that going to actually be a factor? I know the Aswan Dam in Egypt, they were kind of surprised at how much of the water of the Nile evaporated before it got through the dam. Interesting.
All right, and here's a beautiful one of Mullet Lake from John Kimball.
Very cool, and we noticed I've noted before that Mullet Lake and Burt Lake are 2 pretty good-sized lakes that are on either side of Interstate 75, about 10 miles shy of the Mack Bridge. So that's interesting.
I like the sun reflecting on the water in this one.
Yeah, isn't that cool? The ripples there. And from John Doherty, we got a nice, what looks like a shower there.
And a rainbow.
Yeah, a little bit right there.
And the color change.
Yes, there is some of that going on right now, and that will accelerate just a bit now that we've got a little bit cooler pattern. But we've had a lot of sunny days, and a lot of the trees still think it's summer, still think it's time to be, cranking out that green photosynthesis process that we talk about. And from John Scully, we're having a bonfire at the beach.
I bet there were hot dogs and marshmallows.
I like bonfires. I've got a fire pit here, and I hardly ever use it. But I like doing the fireworks or the hot dogs and whatnot. I like fireworks too, by the way.
And send your pictures and comments and questions to bill@billsteffen.com, and we'll put it on the show.
That's right. And we're always glad to hear from you. It's nice to get feedback. For so many years of doing TV, I would stare into a camera and I would talk, and I would have no idea if I was putting people to sleep or if they were interested or if they, had a question that they wanted to ask. And so it's always nice to get feedback from people. So we've reached the end of our meteorological and daily journey here. Thanks to Michelle and Alex for helping us out. I want to thank you so much for watching me over these 50 years, by the way. And of course, we're going strong here on YouTube at Bill Steffen 616. Have yourself a great day. Enjoy the sunshine.